Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Gary rolled his eyes at Wayne. It's none of your business. However, Jack had managed to see what was on Gary's mind. Then sighed and looked at Nicole. Brother, although the both of you can join the competition together, it's better for you to not put so much effort into someone, especially when that someone already belongs to someone else. Those words pierced Gary's heart like a blade to the chest, prompting him to give Wayne a death stare. No one would think you're mute if you keep your mouth shut. Jack fell silent at once, not daring to put another word in. Deep down, however, he knew that Gary would not give up this easily. After school, Gary saw Nicole carrying her bag and left. Then, he quickly chased after her and initiated a conversation. Nicole, this is a great book about computer science. You can ask me if you have any questions. Gary was behaving very differently from the previous semester, in which he would approach Nicole with an air of arrogance about him. Now, Gary would look at Nicole with gentle kindness. As soon as Nicole saw the book, however, her lips twitched. Computer 101, and it covers the most basic of stuff. Nicole had already read it from cover to cover when she was just 10. It's fine. I won't be needing it. You can keep it. Nicole walked past, not wanting to waste any time on that. Gary immediately froze, while Wayne and Jack were stunned as well. What is Nicole trying to do? Our big boss took the initiative to give her a book, and yet, she gave him the cold shoulder. Isn't she the competitive type? Or is she really considering just joining and getting a certificate of participation? Hey, wait up, Nicole. Gary quickly came back to his senses and chased after Nicole again. Jack and Wayne looked at each other. They felt that their boss would lose his charm whenever he faced Nicole. Love does drive people crazy, they thought. Gary kept pursuing her until he had stepped out of the academic block, and when everyone noticed that Gary was chasing after her, all of them began to look at him. Such was because Nicole had become a famous figure in the school that day. Coupled with Gary's fame in the school, they immediately attracted the crowd's attention. Nicole did not like to be noticed by the people around her, so she hastened. Concurrently, Gary also took bigger steps, which allowed him to catch up to her. Nicole, I am sincere about helping you. I won't act like how I was before, being self-centered and all that. This time around, I will give you a helping hand as long as it is within my abilities to do so, he said. Last semester, Gary was so arrogant and condescending that he wanted Nicole to lower herself before him and beg for his help. Currently, however, he was sincere about helping her on his own volition. As long as he could spend more time with her, Gary was fine with it. Nicole had been listening to Gary's rambling for a long time, and when she finally could not stand him anymore, she halted. Gary, do you think that what you're doing now isn't a display of condescension? What a joke. He doesn't even know me well. And yet, he's telling me that he wants to help me. He has no clue about whether I need help or not. Still, he has the nerve to decide that I needed it anyway, Nicole fumed. When was I being condescending? Gary was flabbergasted. He had already approached her with much humility, and could not understand what else she was expecting from him. You thought that I needed your help. You thought that I needed you to teach me. That is being condescending. Nicole frowned, her tone getting harsher. Looking at how persistent Nicole was in declining him, Gary felt a little hurt. I was sincere about helping you. After all, I really do know more about computers than you do. Nicole looked at how confident Gary was with himself and snorted. There's no need for any of that. Those words inexplicably made Gary's heart sink. He felt that Nicole was trying to imply something else. Seeing that Gary had finally toned down, Nicole replied coldly, So what if you know a lot about computers? You don't know me at all. If Gary really knew her well, he would not have pestered her and behaved in such a condescending manner. Then, she walked out of the school and got into her driver's car. Gary could only watch her from afar as his expression shifted from disappointment to hurt. Why? Why wouldn't Nicole treat me like this? I've tried talking to her humbly. I've even given her some friendly advice, but no matter what I do, she just wouldn't take my help. At that moment, a downpour descended upon the school. Gary looked up in a daze as he let the raindrops fall on his face, his heart heavy and hurt. Rain, who had seen everything from afar, was immediately filled with anger and jealousy. She was jealous because Gary had never really paid attention to her, and that had driven her up the wall. Gary is someone who is way out of my league. Who is Nicole to hurt him like this? What right does she have to make him so depressed? She seethed. Enough was enough for her. So what if Nicole obtained the fire crest? So what if she was Jared's wife? Nicole had hurt someone Rain loved, and for that reason, she deserved to suffer and rot. It was raining the entire time, even after Nicole, Samuel, and Spencer had arrived back home. When they got down from the car, the brothers simultaneously took their coats off and draped them over Nicole's head to shield her from the rain. When their hands touched, they immediately glared at each other. I can help Nicole myself. Shut up and get inside. Spencer rolled his eyes at Samuel and dashed into the house with Nicole and him. Nicole watched as her brothers shielded her from the rain on each side, and her heart was instantly filled with bliss. Being coddled sure feels nice. Dinner was nearly ready when they entered the house, so Nicole went upstairs to get a change of clothes. When she got downstairs, Daniel and Sean were already home too. The moment Sean saw her, he murmured, "Nicole, you were right about something." Nicole arched her brows, and finally understood what he had meant after thinking about it. Nora doesn't have a suspended sentence, right? Yeah, someone found the best doctor to treat her. She's now in prison, and someone will be there to keep an eye on her so she can't commit suicide anymore. Nicole squinted her eyes as she thought to herself, who else could it be, other than Jared? Indeed, Jared would never let Nora die, he would just make her life a living hell. Let's not talk about her anymore. She has to face the consequences of her actions. Daniel glumly said. Don't tell your mom about this. Nicole and Sean nodded as they decided not to make any mentions of Nora in this house anymore. While Sean and Daniel went up put on some fresh clothes, Nicole was walking down the stairs. At the same time, Alfred was ushering a guest into the house. Nicole turned to have a look. What? Jared. Why is this guy in my house? She freaked out. Gloria was over the moon when she saw Jared. She quickly walked up to him to welcome him. Oh, Jared. You're a busy man, why did you come all the way here? Come, join us for dinner. He looked toward the stairway where Nicole was, and once he saw her, his heart became full. He had not seen Nicole for a few days, and because of that, he missed her very much. He just continued staring at her as he could not find it in himself to take his eyes off her. Nicole walked up to him and in an awkward tone, she asked, "Why are you here?" Jared flashed her a wicked smile. "I'm here to deliver you some clothes." Nicole was stunned as she watched Claus placing a bag on their coffee table. Huh? You looked great in that gown the other day, so I ordered something better for you, one tailor-made just for you. Gloria smiled from ear to ear when she saw how considerate Jared was. Oh, Jared. You're such a nice man. You've forgotten about the gown, haven't you, Nicole? Gloria commented. Spencer and Samuel had been preparing excitedly these days, but Nicole did not need any preparations at all, no matter how hard Gloria tried to convince her to do so. I see that it's because she has Jared to take care of it for her. Nicole looked at Jared helplessly. You didn't have to order one for me. This is too much. The previous gown already cost a fortune. Doesn't it mean that this tailor-made gown is even more expensive? She asked herself. Though Nicole had the money, she did not like to waste it. In response, Jared chuckled playfully. Nothing is too much when it comes to you. In just a single line, Jared had made Gloria, Tia, and Mrs. Wallace Sr. relieved. Nicole has great taste in men. Jared is such a gentleman. However, Spencer and Samuel did not look like they were happy at all. Does this guy have to be so cheesy? Nicole was feeling shy too, so she quickly pulled him over to the couch. Shush. I'll take the gown, okay? Jared smiled. He loved how Nicole looked when she was shy. Tia then put the gown away for Nicole, who was looking at Jared awkwardly as she did not know what to say to him. Meanwhile, Gloria had already finished serving all the dishes on the dining table, and with both Daniel and Sean in the living room too, Gloria said, "Come on. Let's head to the dining area. You must eat more tonight, Jared." "Sure, thank you." Jared smiled politely. Gloria smiled lovingly when she looked at Jared, who was holding Nicole's hand during the entire time. Mrs. Wallace Sr. had also grown fonder of Jared as she gave him a kind smile. She had always found him polite ever since the first time she met him. But at one point, Harvey was always seen with Nicole, so Mrs. Wallace Sr. had a little misunderstanding about the status of their relationship for a while. Still, Jared and Nicole were like a match made in heaven. The whole family sat down, with Jared and Nicole sitting together while her brothers sat across from her. Sean and Steve were fine with it, but Spencer and Samuel looked uncomfortable. Though Jared is already engaged with Nicole, isn't it too much for him to visit Nicole so often? Samuel thought. While everyone was eating dinner, Daniel and Gloria were extremely happy with Jared as they chatted with smiles on their faces from time to time. Meanwhile, Nicole looked like her mind was somewhere else, and Samuel had noticed it too, so he scooped some salad up and placed them on her plate. "Nicole, this is your favorite. Eat more." "Sure." Nicole nodded. Jared saw what Samuel did and looked over at him, his eyes stern as if he was warning Samuel. Samuel was taken aback. "What did I do?" Then, he saw Jared scooping another dish for Nicole. "Eat up, you're too slim." That was when he instantly understood what was going on. Jared was warning them that Nicole's boyfriend was the only one who should be scooping dishes for her. Seeing that, Spencer could not help but look at Samuel. "Nicole is not even married to him yet, and we're already being reprimanded by our future brother-in-law," Spencer observed. Samuel looked resigned. "You're not married yet, so why can't I scoop dishes for my sister?" Jared squinted as he did not expect Samuel to blurt this out in front of their elders. Stanley sighed as he looked at Samuel with a frown. "Why is this idiot saying this now?" Stanley thought. "That's enough from you. Just eat your dinner." "Stanley, Samuel was about to respond. However, Jared interrupted him. "Actually, I'm here to talk about this." Jared's statement prompted everyone to place their cutlery down and look at him. Daniel smiled kindly. "Just say whatever you want, Jared." Jared looked at Daniel gently. "I'm already engaged with Nicole, and I think we should put our wedding on the agenda now." "What?" All 5 of Nicole's brothers were perplexed. Why is this guy in such a rush to get married? "We just found Nicole not long ago. It's not easy for us to become this close with Nicole. We don't mind their engagement, but he wants to get married now? And take our sister away from us?" Even Gloria and Daniel were in shock. Mrs. Wallace Sr. was confused as well, but she knew that Jared and Nicole had special identities, so she did not say anything. Samuel was the first one who voiced his disagreement. "I object. It hasn't even been a year since Nicole came back to us. I'm not done spending time with her yet." If they get married, Jared will definitely take Nicole away, he thought. Spencer was not happy about it either, but he was calm. "Even if we do agree, Nicole is not at the age of marriage yet. It's pointless to rush it, Mr. Johnston." Jared looked at Samuel and Spencer cheekily as he said in a challenging tone, "We can get married in Panem." Panem? Everyone was stumped when they heard it. Spencer and Samuel did not expect Jared to play that card. They exchanged looks as if they did not know what Jared was trying to do. But Sean looked at Jared, intrigued. "Sure, you're very sincere, Mr. Johnston. The legal age to marry in Panem is 16, but you won't ever be able to divorce Nicole once you get married. Are you sure about that?" The legal age to marry in Panem was 16, but getting a divorce was illegal. Samuel and Spencer were surprised, as were Gloria and Mrs. Wallace Sr. However, they were surprised at the loyalty Jared had for Nicole. He had never considered divorcing her at all. Both Gloria and Mrs. Wallace Sr. were moved. "Jared, I didn't know you'd do so much for Nicole." Though Gloria thought that Nicole was too young to marry, she still found it very touching. Daniel was also shocked at the fact that Jared would think of doing something like this just to get married to Nicole earlier. Jared could tell that Daniel was hesitating, so he said, "Don't worry, Mr. and Mrs. Riddle. I will take responsibility for Nicole for the rest of my life. I will never let her down, and I will treat her the best I can." Nicole did not expect Jared to have this idea as well. On top of that, she did not expect him to make such a promise before her family. A complicated feeling arose in her heart. Jared's love felt heavy and warm at the same time, filling her with a sense of comfort. She had never thought that she would meet a man like him, who would vow to her family that he would treat her well. Her parents were there, Mrs. Wallace was there, and her brothers were there too. Nicole wanted to remember this moment for the rest of her life. Her heart was full. Daniel eyed Jared's look of seriousness and took a deep breath. "I know you've been great to Nicole, Mr. Johnston. However, we can only give our blessings to you. Ultimately, the decision is Nicole's to make." Daniel looked at Nicole. He knew that she had her own opinions and that she did not need anyone to decide for her. He would support her regardless of her decision. Sean looked at Nicole as if he was already missing her. "Nicole, what do you think?" He even sounded like he was missing her already. Nicole could feel that Sean and the rest of her brothers were looking at her with a sense of longing, as they did not want her to leave the house too soon. Jared is such a tyrant. Nicole took a deep breath in and said, "I just came back, so I'd like to spend more time with my family." Jared understood what Nicole was thinking, so he did not blame her for any of it. "I know, that's why I bought the estate next to your house. When we get married, we'll live next door. That way, you can come back whenever you want. Dad, Mom, and Grandma can visit us whenever they want as well." "What?" Everyone became shocked again. The estate next to their house was not cheap. Besides, it had been sold to someone else a long time ago. The Riddles would not be able to afford it even if they wanted to. The estate next to their house was also a lot larger than theirs, and it was occupied too. At that juncture, they could not help but wonder what Jared had done to acquire it, and how he had gotten their neighbor to give their property up for him and Nicole. Even Nicole was stunned. Jared has been doing so much in silence these days. Other than dealing with Nora, he still has the time to buy the land. Nicole was stupefied and resigned at the same time. That punk is doing whatever he can. Jared looked at Nicole, cheeky and yet determined. Samuel and Spencer were speechless as well. They looked at Nicole innocently and put on a pitiful expressions, hoping that she could find a way to go about this matter. However, Nicole knew very well that once Jared had made his decision, there was nothing that she would be able to do to stop him. She fell for an overbearing man, so there was no escape. "Whatever, we have to get married sooner or later anyway," she concluded. She drew a deep breath as her heart started to race. Then she looked down shyly and said, "All right, I do." Jared's heart stopped the second he heard what Nicole had said. Her brothers' hearts sank as well. "Our sister is going to be whisked away just like that. We won't be able to see our sister in this house anymore." Samuel's expression darkened as he looked at everyone else with downcast eyes. Spencer was speechless as well. All he did was drink his glass of water with his head hung low. Stanley and Steve were not entirely happy about it as well, as they had, unfortunately, spent the least amount of time with Nicole. Even if she lived close by, they would not be able to see her all the time as well. Sean inhaled deeply and accepted it. "It's Nicole's decision, so I'll support her no matter what." He smiled and looked at Jared. "Well then, Mr. Johnston, please take good care of my sister from now on." "Sure, I definitely will." Jared nodded affirmatively. It was settled between the men, but it was then that someone began choking on her tears. Daniel turned around and saw his wife sobbing, so he quickly put his arms around her and asked, "What's wrong, Gloria? Why are you crying?" Daniel loved his wife to bits, so he could never stand to watch her cry. "I'm fine. I'm very touched. I didn't expect Nicole to get married to Mr. Johnston so soon." But her tone turned sad toward the end when she continued, "It's just, I didn't get to spend much time with Nicole. And yet, she's already getting married." Daniel looked helpless as he tried to comfort his wife. Didn't Jared purchase the estate next door? You can see Nicole just about any time you want. Yeah, I know. Even though Gloria knew that visiting Nicole would not be a problem, she felt awful knowing the fact that her precious daughter would belong to somebody else right after coming back to her for just a while. Nicole glowered at Jared upon seeing how sorrowful her mother was. I guess he's happy now. I agreed to marry him, but Jared smiled wordlessly, and he was not bothered by the discontent Nicole had for him. Nicole had no idea how to console Gloria either, so she just watched as Daniel did so. Anyway, this marriage is great news to both the Johnston and the Riddle family, and I'll tell the old man about this tomorrow. Let's just consider this meal an early celebration, Daniel said as he raised his glass. Sean took a deep breath and did the same. Nicole, Mr. Johnston, congratulations. Jared raised his glass happily. Thank you. Everybody else raised their glasses in unison and congratulated Nicole, even though they did not feel like doing so. Nicole looked at her brothers, parents, and grandmother emotionally. She felt elated that she had gotten all of her family members' blessings. It was simply wonderful, and Nicole would never forget that meal. After that, Nicole walked Jared to the door, as she reproached him. You should have asked for my permission before you said those things moments ago. Jared smiled. Well, you said yes anyway, didn't you? Nicole choked. Gross. Jared stretched his arm out and grabbed her skinny waist. I'd do anything as long as you'll agree to be together with me. It's worth it, even though I've said something insensitive and offensive to my brothers-in-law. Nicole lifted her brows. You're aware of that too, hun? Why are you still so hasty then? Wouldn't it be better for us to get married when I reach the local legal age? Jared looked at her with a serious look on his face. You're just too perfect. I can't wait anymore. And just like that, Jared's words shut her up completely. She felt a little angry, but she could not deny that his words made her feel that she was loved. That's enough. You should get going now, she said, unable to bear with his bossy and cheesy demeanor any longer. Jared suddenly lifted his brows. Are you really going to let me leave like that? Ha! Nicole was confused. What do you want from me? To kick your behind? She thought. Jared figured that she did not understand what he was trying to say. So, he swept his gaze across the inside of the mansion before he bent forward and gave her a peck on the lips. Nicole's face felt very hot as she subconsciously took a step back. Are you out of your mind? We're at my house. What if my parents or brothers saw this? How inappropriate would it be? She panicked. Jared smiled cheekily as he wore a salacious expression on his handsome visage. Well, I have no choice but to kiss you goodbye since you won't do it to me. Then, he got into the car. Goodbye, wifey. Who are you calling wifey? Nicole blushed even harder and the urge to punch him in the face arose. However, Jared had ordered his driver to leave the place as soon as he had gotten into the car. Nicole had no choice but to suppress her anger and shyness. Then, she took a deep breath and went back inside. Her parents had already gone upstairs after she had gotten back in, and Mrs. Wallace Sr. had also returned to her room too. However, her brothers were still waiting for her in the living room. As soon as he saw Nicole coming in, Samuel said, Nicole, are you really going to marry him so soon? Yeah. You just came back home, and we won't be sharing the last name very soon. Spencer added, looking very disappointed. Stanley looked at them, grabbed them by the back of their necks, and pulled them back. That's enough. Stop harassing Nicole. Are you two not going to have your own family in the future? Samuel slumped over in his seat. It's not that. I just didn't expect Nicole to marry so soon when Sean and Steve don't even have a girlfriend. Sean's face darkened. Why did you have to drag me into this? Are you tired of breathing? Samuel immediately corrected himself. No. I was saying that Nicole had her life all figured out, and yet, none of us are catching up to her at all. 5 of them were all older than Nicole, but none of them had a girlfriend. The fact that Nicole was going to get married before they would was simply humiliating. Nicole looked at Samuel's face and flashed him a smirk. Samuel, you sound like you're very desperate for a girlfriend. All of a sudden, Samuel became very awkward. What? How? You complained that you didn't have a female partner not long ago, and now you're jealous that I'm getting married. TSK, TSK. Samuel, are you going through puberty right now? Pfft. Steve laughed and the coffee that he was drinking spurted out of his nose. Haha. I thought so too. The atmosphere became a lot happier after Nicole had made fun of Samuel. Samuel, many girls in school have written love letters to you, and yet, none of them are good enough? Stanley joined his siblings to mock Samuel. Then, Spencer added, somebody just gave him another one at the basketball court 2 days ago. She looked kind of pretty too. Shut up. Samuel stood up, annoyed. He then pinned Spencer down, trying to shut him up. Nicole lifted her brows. Spencer and Samuel are really popular. Looks like I've got to get it done quicker. Her words stunned everybody. However, Nicole had gone upstairs before they could interpret what her words meant. This caused Sean and Steve to look at each other. What did Nicole say? Something about getting something done quicker? The 5 brothers then look at each other simultaneously, though none of them knew what Nicole was talking about. Soon, the sky turned dark, and a Rolls-Royce was seen coasting on the freeway. It drove past the Cross River Bridge, and Jared saw the part of the bridge where the accident had happened, and had been recently repaired. His eyes became extremely frosty as he called Janice on the phone. Max had ordered him to take care of the driver, which had fled at the border, and he figured that he might have talked already. Very soon, the call connected, and Jared heard Janice's voice. Hello, Mr. Johnston. Jared then spoke in a deep, low voice. Any updates? Janice paused for a moment as he looked at the person who was in a complete mess after he had interrogated him. This man is a professional hitman, and he's working for an organization. He just wouldn't say a word. Janice was starting to lose his patience after it had taken him close to a week to settle something that was supposed to be done within just 3 days. Jared's gaze turned ruthless and cold. Bury him alive then. Janice had put Jared on speaker when they were conversing. Marked for death, the hired gun, who was covered in blood, shuddered upon hearing what Jared had said. I guess my time is up. A vicious look suddenly flashed across Janice's face. Okay, I'll give him one last chance. After that, he hung up. Jared did not bother asking any more questions, but he knew that the way Janice in which dealt with the other professional killers was just as brutal as the methods employed by those during the medieval times. Because of that, Jared believed that the person would speak. And true enough, once he had arrived home, he received a text from Janice. He's spoken. It's the heiress of the Fisher Group, Fiorella Fisher. Jared's eyes lit up in a blaze thereafter. Fiorella Fisher. I guess she hasn't learned her lesson after everything that had happened at the banquet. I can't believe the nerve she has in trying to hurt and kill Nicole. Well, there'll be consequences to her actions. After that, Jared dialed Max's number at once. In their residence, the Fisher family was busy entertaining a few big families and the directors of some huge corporations that they had spent so much effort trying to establish a relationship with. Fiorella was dressed in a revealing and enchanting outfit, and she was feeling very comfortable among the elites. It made her feel a lot better after she had been rejected and humiliated in front of everybody in the banquet, and now, she just somehow felt very good about herself. She had regained her confidence after socializing and exchanging toasts with those in the crowd. A big fat man was talking shop with Fiorella when he grabbed her hand tipsily. He then caressed her hand while ogling her. It's a deal then, Miss Fisher. You'd better make sure nothing goes wrong. Rest assured, Mr. Gordon. I'll handle this personally. There's nothing to be worried about, Fiorella said, trying to hide how disgusted she was. She was doing everything she could to appease these people, but deep down, she desperately wanted to push that man away. Colton was entertaining his guests in the crowd too. He felt very uncomfortable when he saw someone taking advantage of his daughter, and was about to walk over when he heard a loud blast from outside the house. Boom! Everybody was startled, and even the fat man who was caressing Fiorella's hand flinched, before he turned his gaze to the yard. What was that? Fiorella was shocked too. They had security and bodyguards out there, and so, she could not figure out what that blast could possibly be. And before she knew it, she saw a curtain of flames outside the window. At the very next second, the guards outside shouted, "This is bad. There's a fire. Put it out. Call 911 now." The shouts scared everyone in the mansion, and they all began panicking. "There's a fire. Run." A few of the rich women began scattering into different directions, and other big shots began to sober up too as they hurried outside in a desperate attempt to flee. "Fiorella, darling, run." Colton immediately rushed over to his daughter and wife. Then, he grabbed their hands and began running out of the house. He saw a huge flame burning as soon as he was outside. Apparently, somebody had doused his yard in gasoline, and the blaze was heading toward them. As it turned out, the explosion moments ago had come from one of the cars outside. "We're doomed. We can't get out of here. Turn around," Hugo yelled as everybody backed up. Fiorella got so scared that she retreated too. Everyone in the house was trapped. The only thing they could do was head inside and wait for the guards to put the fire out. Hugo looked at Colton and Fiorella angrily. "Mr. Fisher, what is the meaning of this? Are you trying to murder us all?" There were so many influential people in the house, and now, a fire had broken out. To make matters worse, all of them had nowhere else to go. "No. Stay calm. I've called the fire department. The fire will be taken care of in no time," Colton shouted, trying to keep everyone calm. However, Fiorella was too frightened. She just could not figure out who would do such a thing to her in San Giotto other than Jared and Nicole. Then, she figured that they must already have found out that she was the one who had planned to send Nicole off the bridge now that they had gotten to her. "They're going to kill me today," she thought to herself. "I can't die here. Let me out," she yelled. Then, Fiorella grabbed the tail end of her dress and rushed outside as if she had lost her mind, while Colton could not stop Fiorella in time as Hugo would just not stop pestering him. Colton was baffled as he watched helplessly, while his stark raving mad daughter dashed out. "Fiorella." He turned around in an attempt to grab hold of her, but unfortunately, he could only manage to grab a piece of her dress. Fiorella sprinted out into the open anyway, forgetting that she was wearing a lace dress, and that there was gasoline under her feet. She thought there was just a bit of it, and that she could easily get past after sprinting away. However, she was completely engulfed in flames as soon as she stepped into the yard. Arg! The flames covered her, devouring her gown, and the searing sensation caused her to shriek in pain. There, she completely forgot about the reason why she had ran out and immediately fell onto the ground, which was covered in large puddles of gasoline. "Miss Fiorella." Shocked, her bodyguards immediately ran up to her with fire extinguishers in hand to put the flames out. And though the fire was soon extinguished, it took a few bodyguards to do so and bring her out of the area. By then, the flames had rendered Fiorella naked. Her skin was charred, and her hair was in a great mess, emanating from it a stench most dreadful. At that moment, she looked just like a vagabond. The excruciating pain that she felt traumatized her to the extent that she did not even care about the fact that she was naked anymore. All she did was curl up on the ground and yelled, "It hurts. Call the ambulance." Fiorella. As soon as her mother heard her cries, she was prepared to run out as well. However, Colton stopped her. "Are you crazy? Do you want to get injured too?" "But Fiorella." Mrs. Fisher then calmed down. Though she was heartbroken, she did not give in to her impulse. Soon after, the fire brigade and the ambulance arrived. At that point, the fire had already reached the house, and the firemen rushed in at once. Fortunately for the Fishers, Colton and the rest of them were hiding in the furthest washroom in the house, and thus, none of them were harmed. The only one who had been wounded was Fiorella, and she was already being carried into the ambulance. The second her parents reached her, she was barely recognizable anymore. Fiorella. Her mother was so shocked that she passed out. Colton grabbed her and entered the ambulance, taking his wife and his daughter to the hospital. And just like that, on that dark and faithful night, the Fisher family was destined for doom, with the news spreading during the very next morning itself. According to the news, there was a massive blaze, which had scorched half of their mansion. The heiress, Fiorella Fisher, was critically injured and had been taken to the hospital. The instant Daniel saw the report, he stared at his children in shock. This happened to the Fishers? Both Daniel and Sean were worried that the Fishers would plot to do something dastardly to them. However, in just one night, a tragedy had struck the Fishers. Nicole was slightly shocked as well. After all, who would do such a thing to the Fishers at a time like this? Besides, judging by the scene, it seems that there were a lot of big shots over there too. It's pretty obvious that it was planned. Nicole pondered hard and came to a conclusion that the only possible culprit was Jared. But he didn't have to be so brutal, did he? Fiorella was obsessed by her physical appearance. If she was that badly burned, there would almost be no chance of recovery. There was an 80% chance that she was going to be disfigured. Fiorella must be going crazy now, isn't she? Nicole thought. I'm done eating, so I'll be heading to school now. Nicole took her bag once she was done with her breakfast. Hey, me too. Samuel wanted to run after her, but as he was not done eating, he was a little too late. Nicole took this time to give Jared a call outside. Right as Jared answered her call, Nicole asked, was Fiorella the person behind the incident at the bridge? Other than his desire to exact vengeance upon Fiorella, Nicole did not think that Jared had any other reason to do this to them. Jared was slightly taken aback as he did not expect Nicole to be able to make the correct guess so soon. He smiled. As I'd thought, my wife is really smart. That's enough, don't call me that. Nicole warned, not liking what he had said as title did not suit a young woman like her at all. My lover. Jared teased her. Shut up. I'm hanging up, Nicole finished, for all she wanted was a confirmation for her suspicions. Then, she immediately hung up without saying another word. After that, Samuel and Spencer ran up to her. Nicole, you ate too fast, man. To follow Nicole's pace was indeed tiring for them both. To add to that, Samuel still had a sandwich in his hand. You just eat too much, Nicole retorted. Me? Samuel was at a loss for words, but he could not deny it, as what Nicole said was a fact. Spencer laughed. Yes, someone finally said it. Zip it. Samuel shoved Spencer aside and got into the car. Spencer followed suit and the trio went to school happily. They spent the morning peacefully as nothing much happened, but when afternoon arrived, Nicole received a call to attend physical education. Everyone scattered excitedly as they went out to play, and that was because they only had one physical education class every week. For that reason, everyone was enjoying themselves. Some of them played basketball, and some played soccer. The girls, however, were doing physical training with their teacher. As Nicole was paying attention to her teacher, she felt something flying toward them. Being the agile woman she was, she could dodge the object on time. However, the teacher wasn't as fortunate, as it then went straight toward his head. Damn it! Who did it? The teacher yelled. Everyone fell silent at once. They looked toward their teacher and realized that he had a volleyball in his hand. Sorry, sir. We didn't know how to play, so we missed. Rain walked over and apologized to the teacher. It was then that the students realized that Rain's class was having volleyball training on the other side of the field. Nicole's gaze turned dark. That ball was hurled with force, so it was not just a case of a ball being thrown by mere accident. The teacher saw Rain and realized that a girl had thrown it, and thus, he chose to let it slide. Be careful when you play. What do you think is going to happen if you hurt someone? Got it. Rain nodded as she mentally cursed. Damn Nicole. I got lectured by this teacher because she dodged it. Indeed, it had made her livid. Noticing that Nicole's class was just doing some simple exercises, Rain quickly came up with an idea. Sir, there aren't a lot of girls in my class. Can we merge with yours for our volleyball training? Playing volleyball is a form of exercise anyway. Rain acted cute as she held the ball, and though neither Rain nor Snow were the prettiest girls in school any longer, the male teacher still bought into Rain's act. He looked over at his class awkwardly and asked, "Are you girls up for it?" It was hard to think that anyone would be up for it. The school volleyball team consisted mostly of senior girls. Even if the juniors joined the team, they would only be benched as not many of them knew how to play volleyball. "Don't be afraid. We'll teach them, so you can relax a little, sir. After all, it's normal to merge classes like this," Rain added. In their school, many classes would merge for activities, so it was not something out of the ordinary. The teacher agreed. "Fine, there really aren't a lot of girls in your class anyway. Well then, your class will be a team, and my class another. Let's play a friendly match." Ha! Lulu and the rest of them immediately wore a painful expression.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.